of the dream, I persisted. No way to go back again. I want you to save me from myself. Save me from myself. Save me from myself. I want you to tear me down and build me up again. Save me from myself. Save me from myself. Save me from myself. We don't belong together, so I bother. When I surrender to being useless.
And now, here to help you know your number and grow your number live, the Lost Dog Network presents One Lucky Dog with Tom Sosnoff, Scott Sheridan, and a little bit of soul.
Ooh, are you not wearing any pants?
To the studio in 3, 2, 1.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much. We are back
Good morning.
for your favorite call-in show.
Well, we got to say hola. You only get Scott and Tom today. We are soulless. That would be S-O-L, less, not S-O-U-L. So we're soulless. You get me and Tom today. So happy Thursday. I get to say it because I have to. Go Bears. They're now favored by 1.5. It's for anybody that doesn't understand
That's
Bears.
a pretty big. That's a pretty big
3-point swing.
That's pretty big swing.
But anybody that doesn't, like, I hope you would agree with this, of course, because I'm going to say it, you're going to say you don't agree, but this is the rivalry in sports. I mean, if you're in Chicago, this is it.
I think, yes.
This is it. I mean, at least for the last 15 years.
Yeah, I mean, Cubs Sox is a decent rivalry, and there's other rivalries, like Cubs St. Louis is a decent rivalry. Not like Bears Packers.
Bears Packers is Bears
But
Packers.
there's Mets Yankees.
No. I'm thinking Chicago.
Oh, in Chicago, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me, college, it's Michigan, Ohio State, period. I'm sure if you're SEC, it's Alabama, Georgia.
Alabama, Auburn.
Alabama, Auburn, but Alabama, Georgia.
Florida State.
By the way,
Texas.
Who do you like?
Texas.
Alabama, Oklahoma. Alabama's getting 1.5.
I like Oklahoma. Didn't Oklahoma beat them the first time?
I think they did. I'm taking Alabama.
I like Oklahoma.
I've watched some Oklahoma. I don't get it. Their quarterback, Mateer, whatever. I don't get
Oh my God! I'm going to start watching a lot of football this weekend.
This is a lot of football.
A lot of football.
It's two. Well, I think there's college games tomorrow night. I think there's
so.
two tomorrow night. Then there's 2 on Saturday, and then the Bears game Saturday night.
I haven't done any Christmas shopping yet. I am in.
But you say that like that's unusual.
I'm in deep doo-doo. I haven't done any shopping.
And the
Christmas shopping,
the problem for
food
you is
shopping.
you don't know how to do anything online, and it's
I
probably
don't know doing online.
Yeah. Ugh.
I got a lot of football to watch. I'm not sure I'm going to pull this off. I got a lot of stuff to do. Anyway, thanks for joining us today. We're located in Chicago. We're actually on the north side, and just a little west of Wrigley Field, and in our brand new studios. Hopefully you like them. We want this to be, I don't know, one of the largest call-in shows on finance and business and entrepreneurship. And we hope it grows into that over the course of next year or next couple of years. And it's an hour a day. We'll take your emails. We'll take your calls. We'll even take your voicemail, your voicemail messages, but I hate that.
That's only because you're being told we'll do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, our phone lines are open. So if you'd like to call for the next hour, 989-LOST-DOG is the number, 989-LOST-DOG.
LOSSDOG.
LOSSDOG. So let's just quickly get into the markets.
Yeah, but also don't forget one other thing. Like pretty soon we're going to be launching our software. It's for all. We're there. We're on the dance floor right now, pretty much ready to roll it out. And once we roll it out, you'll be able to also send in resumes, and we'll be able to talk about your salary and your upside and all that kind of stuff. So it's actually really cool what we're building. But now we're ready to talk about market. By the way, I feel a little vindicated market-wise today because I know I was a day early, but
and in fairness, when they were down like 30 or 40 yesterday, I said, giving you a chance, what do you think? Do you still think the rally's coming?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, but now this hurt a little bit.
Yeah, it hurt.
And by the time the show was over, I think they were down 70. I'm like, well, we just missed that one. They're back up to where they were.
Yeah, they're right back.
They're right back. So
up 67, Nasdaq's up just under 400. Yeah.
Yeah, the Nasdaq's right there. So SPOO's up 70, Nasdaq up 385, gold down 7, silver down $1.20, Bitcoin 88,400 up 2,400. Ethereum is up 128.
This is all a Micron.
29.50.
This is all a Micron move this morning. They had good earnings, but I don't really care what it is.
Micron's our expected move was 20,
And it moved 33.
35, and
Yeah.
it's now 29.
Yeah, but this is traditionally, the reason I was worried about a rally today, this is traditionally one of the day before Dees triple witching, which is today. It's traditionally really strong day. So anyway, in the markets.
So
Anyway,
we should
let's
see.
go.
So we'll get into greater detail, later.
Again, four lines open right now, and if you're on hold, please just hang in there for about 10 minutes, and then we'll get to you.
Yep.
But 4 lines still open. Love to hear from you.
All right. Here we go.
Ask us anything.
Ask us anything. Instead of ask me anything, ask us anything. So
Ask
we're
us
going to
anything.
start letters from the dog pound. With a $200,000 trading account, I'm curious whether there is a way to optimize or reduce margin requirements when applying a strangle strategy, specifically by adding wings. Under which conditions, IVR threshold, will adding wings become advantageous?
So this was an email that I got yesterday, I believe, and if I remember correctly, this trader is in Switzerland, and but it's a very common question that we get. Actually, all the time, we'll say, "Hey, what's kind of the rule of thumb with adding wings?" Right? I mean, it's completely reasonable.
Yep. So what that means, obviously, is just you're then defining. You're going from you're not being defined risk if you're naked on both sides, so now you're defining because you're putting on verticals.
So my answer in this question, and I've been pretty much answering it the same way now for 25 years, is it's all based on what we call BPR, buying power reduction. So the back of the envelope cheat sheet for this is when to add wings is based on the percentage of your net lick that you're using for the strangle. And if the percentage of the net lick for the strangle is over, let's say 5 to 7% of your net lick, then you add wings to bring it under that number. So for example, this particular person had a $200,000 trading account with $100,000 committed to cash and $100,000 committed to trading. If you take 5 to 7% of that $100,000, because it has nothing to do with your cash, it has to do with your actual trading capital. If you take 5 to 7% of your trading capital, that's going to give you a number of between, on paper, of between $5,000 and $7,000. If the strangle requires more than $5,000 to $7,000 as a naked strangle, then you do wings. It's that simple. And don't overthink this. Don't make this really complicated. And by buying the wings, you'll probably knock the requirement down to $2,000 or $3,000 that it fits under that number. Then you go on to the next trade. You don't add contracts. You just go as wide as you can, wing-wise, to get under that number, and that's it. It's that simple. Would you do anything else?
No, I think that's a great answer.
Yeah, and again, we get a lot of these questions. I probably, over the last 25 years, I've got a version of that question 200 or 300 times, and the simple answer to mostly everything in the world of trading is always, the back of the envelope is always buying power reduction. It's a simple cheat sheet.
Got it. All right. Good question. I won a large sum of money in a lawsuit. I wonder if it's better for me to put the money directly into my company, or should I trade options and futures options with it and then put the profits into my company?
Well, first of all, congrats on your winning. Every time I hear somebody say, I won a lot of money in a lawsuit, all I can think of is, if there's ever a time in my life when I have to call Lerner and Rowe, I'm going to cut my own you-know-what off. Because when I drive from Michigan to Chicago, there's...
Every other billboard.
No, it's literally every billboard. For 60 miles
Yeah.
is a Lerner and Rowe billboard. And if it's not Lerner and Rowe, it's some other...
And for whatever reason, the optimal time for that type of business to market is early morning TV. Because it's like, seems like every commercial is just for some, here, use me.
Well, if you came to America for the first time and you drove around or watched a little TV, you'd absolutely be convinced that the only people in this country, all the lawyers in this country are personal injury attorneys. That's what it is. But anyway, that's not your question. So you want a large sum of money in a lawsuit. Congrats. This is an interesting question, because I wonder if it's better for me to put the money directly into my company, which he's self-employed, has his own company, or should I trade options and futures with it and then put the profits into my company? He is a profitable trader, this person. My answer was, if you always bet on yourself. My simple answer is you always bet on yourself. If you said, I want to invest in other things, then I would probably lean towards the futures and options trading. Or if you wanted to take a risky investment in something else where you didn't know, then I'd probably say, go the trading route or mix and match. But my response to this person was, you know what? Always bet on yourself. I put the money into your company. If you want to take a little bit, of the large sum of money, like 10, 20, 30%, and putting it into a trading account, go ahead. But the bulk of the capital, you should bet on yourself.
I agree with you. It depends on if the business needs the money or not. I mean, I just wouldn't throw it into the business if it didn't need it, but I'm going to jump onto your last line, which is I would take some of the money, 10, 20, 30% sounds like a good number, put it in a trading account so you do a little bit of both. So just sprinkle a little dirt across both infields.
There's a reason why so many companies buy their own stock back, because essentially it comes down to, do I want to bet on this company over here and buy them, and I don't really know if I'm overpaying, I don't know really who runs, how the management team is, I don't know that much about them, or do I want to bet on myself? And that's why virtually every company, when they have excess cash, goes to their board and says, let's buy our stock back, because you always want to bet on yourself. I see no reason why private companies shouldn't do the same thing.
But we've always wanted to bet on ourselves. I don't know if most CEOs have that mentality. So
if you are a founder, CEO, you have that mentality.
Correct.
If you are a hired gun, you only have that mentality if your salary's
tied to the
stock price.
Correct. There's a big difference. The motivation is different. So
989 Lost Dog. That's our number. Queue them up. We're going to have plenty of time to answer questions about trading, about your business, about school, everything. So don't be shy.
All right. What's your perspective on computer science versus real estate as a long-term career path? Also, should I delay my decision until after completing my college degree? So I will jump in here.
Go ahead.
Very, very, very different. To say, one to me is a degree, the other is an occupation. So computer science, clearly you need to make that decision while you're in school. I mean, I'm not saying you can't learn coding.
And just to help you here, I think it's commercial real estate. So I think there's a
going in
math
as a broker?
Not as I don't know, analyst, broker, but it's commercial.
Got it. Okay. Well, that's different.
Yeah.
But again, even if you're going to do that, I'm not saying that there aren't specific programs, but that's very niche to say you're going to go to learn how to be a commercial real estate broker. So I don't know where, because again, feel like extremely different options here. Computer science, and one of the things, one of my kids is a mechanical engineering major. And my dad was a mechanical engineering major, although he only used it as his first job, and then after that it was a bazillion other things. So to me, computer science, whether you're using it directly as as your actual role, or you're going to use the knowledge that you've learned, because I'm sure it teaches you how to think, that to me would be my path forward, because you can always choose to go into real estate. I don't think you can do it going the other way. You can't just say, I never studied computer science and now I want to just do it, unless you want to go back to school.
It's funny because that's a strange little choice here between commercial real estate and computer science. However, that said, I'm totally comfortable with either one. I think there's probably more broad-based opportunity in computer science or computer engineering, especially if you do like financial engineering or something like that. But the commercial real estate market has, a lot of people love it. I have a lot of my son's friends have entered the commercial real estate market, and they love it. So, yeah, I would be totally fine with either. But should you delay your decision until after completing your college degree? Of course, because you know what? A lot of things change. If I had made my decision before I graduated college with what I was going to do, professionally after I got out of school, I'm not so sure I'd be here. So I think you have to delay your decision and then see what kind of opportunities come up. You may have a great opportunity in commercial real estate and no opportunity in computer science, or the other way around. So of course you delay your decision. And that makes the most sense. Hey, before we go on to the next letter, let's just mix in a phone call or two here.
Okay.
How about Kiani from Hawaii? Hey, Kiani, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going, Tom and Scott? I had a quick question about. I'm doing great. It is 5:15 in the morning in beautiful Maui. Can't really see anything outside yet, but
hey,
go ahead, rub it in.
It's lunchtime, but rub it in. Yeah.
I'm guessing your weather today's going to be better than ours.
Well, thanks for getting up early and thanks for calling. So what's up?
Yeah,
man?
the market opens at 4:30 here. But yeah, anyways, quick question on calendar spreads, more specifically long calendar spreads. I haven't really been able to find any information anywhere, including your prior podcasts and lives and everything. But anyways, when it comes to long calendar spreads, does it ever make sense to have the goal of being exercised on the short leg, and then thus being assigned, the opposite, whether it's shares or short shares, to then sell those or buy to close them, at a profit before your long leg ever expires? Has that ever been explored to any great depth or detail?
No, because, well, first of all, there is, over the last 15 or 20 years, we did archive a bunch of stuff on calendar spreads. It's out there. I admittedly, we never spent a ton of time on calendar spreads because they're very slow moving, and a lot of customers, it just didn't get them too excited. That said, we've been doing calendar spreads for 40 years. As a retail investor, you have to be long them. You can't be short a calendar spread, and nobody does a calendar spread with the intent to be assigned to get your stock and then make the trade after that. It's not a, I would say there's no mechanics to that approach. If you really like calendar spreads and they're low risk, low reward, find an underlying that has relatively low implied volatility, because you want to pop an implied volatility to make them work. Go, use the monthlies, go 1 or 2 months wide, and pick a side. Don't do a double calendar. Those are hard to make them work. But if you're a little bullish, pick an out of the money call. If you're a little bearish, pick an out of the money put. And if you want to diagonalize them a little bit, just to give yourself a little extra delta, go ahead. But that's how I would approach calendar spreads.
I totally agree. And there's, again, because the calendar spread is going to be at max profit if you pin at your short strike, whatever that is. So I've never talked to somebody that said that they have a strategy where they want to get assigned on the short. That's never even come across,
The one thing I will say, Keanu, is when you do calendar spreads, just what Scott just said about you will maximize it at expiration, of course, if you hit your strike. But what we found is the most effective way to trade calendar spreads, and we did a lot of research. When we were at Tasty, we had this think tank, and we did a ton of research on optimizing calendar spreads, profitability. If you manage calendar spreads early, you do much better. You have a really high pop, and you will, and chances are, you'll have a pretty high success rate if you manage early. So what I would do with counter spreads is, let's say you buy it for $2, try to take profits at if you can sell it out at $2.50 or $2.75, take a profit somewhere between, 10, 20, 30, 35%. It won't get much higher than that until you get close to expiration. Hopefully this helps.
Perfect. Thank you
so
for
much.
thanks for the talk. Yeah.
Thanks, and call in anytime.
We're going to move on to Edwin from Long Island. Edwin, good morning.
Hey, Edwin.
Guys.
Hey, man.
Hey, good morning. I'm not going to lie. I heard about your show not too long ago. I watched a Josh Brown podcast, so that's how I heard of you. And, yeah, I don't know too much about trading, but I'm breaking into the industry. I just graduated a year early, and I passed my SIE, and I just wanted some life advice or some pointers that you would give to breaking into the industry and what to look out for. And yeah.
When you say
any
breaking into
advice.
the industry,
You want it if you
you're
got
talking about finance, right?
I'm just talking about general finance, maybe wealth management. That's something.
What was your major and where'd you graduate from?
Economics with a minor in finance, and I graduated from St. Leo University, small school in Tampa.
Got it.
That's my degree, economics and finance. I had a double. So love the choices. My answer, and if you took the SIE, for those that are not aware, that's what I was talking about the other day. FINRA, the regulatory body, split the Series 7 into two because it used to be you couldn't take any of these exams unless you were sponsored by a firm. And then a lot of firms, it was a chicken and egg. A lot of firms wouldn't hire you if you didn't have your license. So then how do you do it if you didn't have the opportunity to take the exam? So they split it. So now anybody, and Edwin did this, you can go out and take the first half. So the SAE is the first half of the 7. It's great. It shows to me that, when we're talking about hustle, it shows to me that you have a desire to really be in the space, which is great, because if you do go for an interview with a brokerage firm, they're going to go, great, you already have the 7, let's get you the top off, and then you're good to go. So you're not going to need the 7 most likely in a money management position. It's only going to be if you're customer facing. So when you are talking to retail, you need to be licensed. So it's the 7 and the 63. Listen, this is what we did for the last 25 years, so I love it. So I think it's a great business. I've seen a lot of people grow up on the trade desk, and for us in our businesses, there then would be the opportunity to move maybe in another direction. Typically, the path for us at Tasty, also back at Thinkorswim, was somebody would go from the trade desk, they move to the risk department. And, if you move to the risk department, all of a sudden that gives you another skill set. So obviously biased, I think it's a great career choice. So I'll turn it to
I got a couple of things for you. So number one, it's funny you mentioned the compound because they have an office in Chicago and an office in New York, and I did the podcast in New York with Josh Brown, but it was my second to last podcast at Tasty. But this morning when I came into work, we have a coffee shop attached to our studios, and when I came into work, the guy that runs that investment group was actually in there. We were bullshitting about that podcast because it's one of the more popular ones they did. Anyway, it's just fun. It's coincidental that you brought it up. Scott brings up a really good point, and over the last, we've been in this world for 40 some odd years, but over the last 25 years, we've run, Thinkorswim and Tasty, and during that period, we probably hired a few hundred people right out of school, just like you, with similar degrees in finance, and we gave them opportunities. Like this would be their first networking job. And so some of them still stayed on the trade desk. Some of them moved on to be money managers. Some of them moved on to sales roles in the world of finance. Some of them moved on to investment banking. And some of them, like Scott said, moved on to risk. And a few of them said, hey, you know what? This is not a business that I love. But I would say 90+% are in this business for life. So I think you're going, if you want some life advice from us, I like the direction you're going. You've got to get involved with a with a financial service firm. I hope you're out of Florida only because there's not a big, unless you're in Miami, there's not a huge concentration of financial firms, and the ones in Miami tend to be more crypto oriented. So if you're are you in the New York area now?
Yes, I have an interview coming up around Manhattan. Yep.
Perfect. If you're in the New York area, there is tons of opportunity because most financial service firms are still based in Chicago, and that you want to be in are still in Chicago or New York. So I would focus on Chicago, New York, Boston, Philadelphia. They're always looking for a ton of talent there. And just say, you know what, when you get there, just say, listen, I just want to break in this business. I want to network. I'll take anything. That's what people want to hear.
Sounds good. I appreciate that, guys.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Edwin. And call in anytime.
Yep. Thank you,
shy.
Edwin. Thanks for the call. Yep. We're going to jump to Jason from Elgin.
Hey, Jason. What's up, man?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi, guys. How are you?
We're good.
Good.
Finally
We're good.
talk to you guys.
Thanks for calling in.
I have a really hard-hitting question for you guys.
Okay.
where in Chicago can I find a great lasagna?
This is a debate that we have a lot.
We do.
I would argue that Scott doesn't know what a good lasagna is, so I don't think that he's. I just don't think he's qualified. I'll let you go first.
Okay. So
don't give him some bougie answer.
No. I love lasagna, and I struggle to find a great lasagna.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Chicago's not like going to Little Italy in New York, and you can find lasagna on every menu. But there are.
Oh my God! El Milanese. So it was on the corner of Montrose and Lincoln, and they had a special. But the chef left, and he is now at a restaurant that I think is very good. Tom does not like, called. It's sunflower in Italian. I'm going to butcher the name, but I think it's Il Girasole. It's on Western.
Okay.
It's across the Western theaters. It's Western and right by Logan. And it's a special, but I think it's a great lasagna. Okay, go ahead. Let's hear what yours is. And if you say Monteverde, I'm throwing the clicker at you. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, they probably do make the best lasagna in the city. If you've never been,
Monteverde has
Jason,
great,
if you've never been to Monteverde, it's amazing. The best lasagna I've had, now we're talking like a combination of just like sheer size and like, weight and that kind of thing.
That goes a long way with you.
That goes a long way. And a really
quantity over quality.
Yeah, quantity, like a really good red sauce on top. I actually like Mart Anthony, old school Italian in the West Loop. Have you been there?
One time, yeah.
Yeah, well, try their
Belgium, so.
Try their lasagna because it's good.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and lasagna's not a big Chicago dish.
It's not.
Yeah,
chicken parm is eggplant parm. But
it's very much Chicago's. Lasagna is very much a New York dish, and I love it.
I love lasagna.
Me too. All right, what else you got, Jason? You got something? What else you got?
Well,
that's a totally reasonable question for this show, just so you know.
Well, just wondering. I've been listening for a little bit. I was just wondering why Soul won't eat chicken parm.
No. It's not that she won't eat it. She just never. If you look at her, she weighs like 42 pounds. So she's not what we call a good consumer.
Right.
Like, we're consumers. So she had never had one, but in fairness, she did take our advice and she did go pick one up, and she loved it.
Yeah, but she's actually healthy and she cares about what she looks like and that kind of stuff, So she's not going to wolf down, a 6-pound.
It's more
vodka
of like
chicken
a
parm.
bite or two, and then bring it home. To her.
We sent her to D'Amato's to have the vodka chicken parm, and she absolutely loved it.
Let's do that for lunch today.
It's a long trip.
It's worth it. I need lunch. You know what? You just made my day, Jason. I think we're doing that for lunch today.
Yeah. Scott's all happy today because the market's up, and it's up more than it was down yesterday, so he feels vindicated that he covered yesterday.
Right.
Not that he made any money in this up move, but just that he feels a little vindicated.
Sometimes not losing is
all right, Jason, call it any time, man. Thanks so much.
Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thanks. Our telephone number, just so you know, is 989-LOST-DOG. LOSSDOG, 989-LOST-DOG.
All right, let's jump back to another.
Yeah, but it's important that what we're trying to do here is, and more people that call in, it creates more interest and it gets people excited, and we're going to build a big following, and we hope this goes on for years, and we answer all your questions about trading, about markets, about finance, about investing, and also then about entrepreneurship and job creation and what should you do after school, after graduating, and what should you do if you're thinking about changing jobs, and are you being paid a fair number, right?
Yep.
Are you getting what you're worth? That's the big thing.
And the next letter from the Dog Pound is going to touch on this. So I would imagine that most people expect to have a continually increasing salary over time, which does not correlate to you are worth the most in your mid-30s. Or maybe that is wrong, and people should expect a salary contraction after their mid-30s. It's a good question.
Okay, so the other day on this network, I made a statement, and I said something to the effect of, because somebody had called in and they were very young, if I remember correctly, I like in their early 20s. And I said, the reason that you should focus on experience and focus on different opportunities and just think a little differently when you're going to take more risk is because you don't maximize your value based on kind of all the research we've been doing. You don't maximize your value till you hit your early, mid, or late 30s. It's just the area between 30 and 40 is kind of like, max return on your money. So that was the comment I made. And this person picked up on that comment and said, essentially, most people expect to have a continually increasing salary over time, which does not correlate to your worth the most in the 30s, because what essentially that means is, well, I should be worth more in my 40s, and I should be worth more in my 50s, and then I should be worth more in my 60s, and so on. What actually happens, and we've done a lot of studies on this, and on a national level, you flatten out at some point, and then when you hit your 60s, it actually goes down a little bit. That's just national. Like it depends on obviously industry and where you are and where you are inside of your company and things like that. But I think if you were looking at kind of like a decay curve, we use the term decay curve because we're option traders. But if you were looking at a decay curve for jobs, you would hit your optimal value in your 30s. You're a little bit below the optimal in your 20s, and then as you get closer to your 50s, you kind of are on the downside of that. It's just a big giant distribution curve, and you want to be like kind of right in the center of that distribution curve when there's the least amount of decay and there's the most amount of value, most amount of premium. So that's why you're worth the most in your mid 30s.
I think Napoleon was 30. There you go. When he started conquering everything. So it's
I don't know if that's a good. I don't know if that's good. You can think like a decent analogy might be athletes, because even though you're probably at your athletic peak in your mid 20s, you get the most money when you're in your 30s.
Yeah, baseball's the worst with that because baseball has paid for past performance, I think, more than any other
when you
sport.
think about certain skill positions like quarterbacks in football make the most money when they're in their early to mid 30s. Baseball players sign their longest contract because when their rookie contracts are over and things like that. And the same thing, it's basically the same in every sport because everybody's got the rookies locked down, for pretty cheap. So I would say that in virtually everywhere, including most jobs. Now, for us, it was a little bit different because we built businesses. I started Theresa when I was in my 40s, and it started Tasty when we were in our 50s. So, I mean, it worked a little differently. And so there's always, that's the positive drift piece, but there's always a lot of upside. So, anyway, that's my answer to the question.
Okay, good answer. All right. I am currently looking for the best way to speculate on daily moves in the NASDAQ, Russell 2000, gold, silver, oil, natural gas markets. That's a lot. Right now I'm using equity options in ProShare 2x leveraged inverse ETFs, but this isn't ideal for the reasons you discussed, RE capital efficiency. Would it be feasible to trade using 1 day to expiration futures options spreads?
Okay.
There's a lot there.
There's a lot to unpack here. I will give you a little context about this person. They said they were a new trader, or relatively new, and I believe they are trading from outside the U.S. If I remember correctly, it's somewhere in Europe. We have a lot of viewers and customers all over the world. When we had Tasty, we had viewers from over the years from almost 185 countries, which is basically every country, just about every country. I think we missed out on like North Korea and one or two.
And Yemen.
And maybe Yemen. Probably not. So I shouldn't say but. So we love getting, emails and calls and just lots of questions from anywhere in the world. And everybody loves to trade, and most people trade in U.S. markets because that's where all the liquidity is. So this guy, my first response to this person was, you picked a couple of underlyings where they're not that liquid. Like the NASDAQ futures the futures options markets are pretty wide. The Russell futures options markets are almost untradeable. Gold markets are good. Silver markets, these are all option markets. Silver option markets are not that good at all. In fact, they're wide.
And it's the big contracts.
And they're big contracts.
Yeah.
Oil markets are good. So gold and oil are the two best on here as for options. And natural gas markets, they're fine, but it's a big, big contract.
Big.
So right now you're using the ProShares 2x leverage inverse ETFs. Those are fine. They're like synthetic futures, but they're very capital inefficient, and you cannot hold those for more than a day or so. They're not designed. They have an implied drag in them, so they are not designed for a long-term hold. So what you want to do in this case is you want to focus on the most liquid futures options, and which starts with ES. That you can trade 24/5. So I would say gold, fine. Oil, fine. You can even get away with NASDAQ, and I would add ES to this group as futures options.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing you could do, you could go to equity options, and if you want...
Yeah, if you want to trade IWM for Russell, you certainly could.
You can trade IWM, you can trade Qs, and those are liquid. So there are other ways that you can get to options, but you just need to be careful, especially with some of these big contracts. The silver, it's big, and because the mini does... I don't know if the mini has options, the micro, but Tasty
micro
doesn't.
silver.
Yeah, I don't think Tasty
so.
doesn't offer. I don't even know.
I don't think it does.
I don't think they exist. There is micro gold does have options.
It does, but they don't trade.
Yeah, they don't trade a lot.
Yeah.
So the key here for as you're doing it, and again, it's a good list. Just make sure that you're looking at liquidity, as you're going to trade these products. Don't trade them just because you say, oh, I really want to go trade it. Fine. If you can't find a vehicle to trade the product that has proper liquidity, my recommendation, stay away.
Now, to wrap up your question, it says, would it be feasible to trade 1 DTE futures options spreads? And the simple answer there is, sure, you absolutely could. I would go wide. If you're going to do that, I would go wide, and I would say you have to be liquid. So if you're going to do futures option spreads, you're going to do 1 DT, your only real choices there are outside of S&Ps and NASDAQ is probably crude oil. That's it.
Yep.
There is nothing else. I would stick to S&Ps and NASDAQ. I would stick to S&Ps. Even the NASDAQ markets are too wide. I would do the 1 DT futures option spreads.
Or SPX, either ES or SPX.
Yeah, and remember, just remember the size. So SPX is twice the size of ES, which is ES is 5 times the size of SPY.
Right.
But you prefer cash settled, and SPX is cash settled.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
So let's go on and let's talk a little bit about markets.
I don't think I've seen you this happy on an 80-point update.
Because
in a long, maybe ever.
Well,
me too, actually, because
well,
it's
first of all, because I'm not long, so I'm very clear. I'm not long, but I'm not
being
short.
Short is a victory.
So tomorrow's triple witching, and I never come in short the day before triple witching. Because I'm always worried about a big rally on the day before triple witching, a big markup. And we were down so much yesterday, they were kind of ugly. And last night, at one point, they actually traded down on the night. The S&Ps were down like 5 handles. And I was like, oh man.
Here we go.
This is really ugly. And Micron just put the market on its back today. Micron's a fun little story. In 2008, we loaded the boat in Micron. I mean, and now I should tell you, the stock, if I remember all the pricing, stock was around $5. And it had come down from like, I don't know, 15 or 20 down to $5. And then on its way to about $2. This is MU, which today is 250. And by the time it got down to $2 or $3, whatever it was, I was long so much Micron, I was like choking on it. And I'm like, this sucks. It was the worst. And I couldn't wait. To break even. And come the summer of 2009 or the fall of 2009, Micron finally went back up to, $5 again. And I scratched the whole trade, didn't make a dime in there, wasted about 3 months of my life thinking it was going out of business. And now this stupid stock is $250.
That's one where you wish somebody knocked you out.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you knocked me out for 17 years, it would have been great. Because I don't even know. I had a lot of digits behind that amount of stock that I bought in Micron. And again, I'll just read off our number. It is 989 Lost Dog. SPU's up 88 this morning. Those are the S&P 500 S&P 500 contracts, and the NASDAQ, which was down at one point yesterday about 400 and change,
It's up
450.
500.
It's up 500 this morning.
Good
and
move.
They even had, when we started the show, Apple was down like $3.50. It's actually up 25 cents. If you want to short something today, you can short Apple. That's about it. I would stay away from everything else and wait till tomorrow. And then after tomorrow, give them one of these. Give them one of these after tomorrow. But what we're going to cover on this network going forward is basically anything until we get our software launched, and then we're going to focus a lot on our software, and we're going to focus on a lot about providing everybody listening with context around their value. It's never been done before. Nobody else has ever built that kind of technology. It's really fascinating. It uses a lot of AI, it uses a lot of math and quantitative analytics. And it's kind of cool. We're also building a digital ecosystem. We will be launching our own stable coin, so we'll be building payment rails over the next couple of years. And it's going to be a fun run, and I hope you enjoy all the back and forth. You ready?
I'm ready.
Before
Let's
we go in markets, let's just, we have a couple people on hold. Remember, we have 5 lines, and we'll queue you up, and just hang in there until we get to you. But we'd love to hear from everybody. Don't be shy. We want this to be very two-sided.
Interactive. All right, let's go with Joshua in Salt Lake City. Joshua, good morning.
Morning, how are you guys?
Good, how you doing?
So far, so good. Hey, what's going on out there? You guys don't have any snow.
Really?
No, it's crazy. We got some rain yesterday, but we still don't have any snow. It might not be a white Christmas over here.
So you know what's crazy, Josh, before we get into your question? I was on TikTok last night, as I usually am. And somehow, because I follow like somebody at Park City, I was watching, there's no snow in Park City.
On the mountain?
There's no snow on the mountain.
You can't skate?
They have a couple of man-made slopes. There's no snow.
Wow.
Oh, there's no
and the
snow.
Wasatch Mountains get a lot of snow. Like the average is like, what, 600-700 inches?
There's no snow in Tahoe. There's no snow in Colorado.
They could have snow on ours.
They get snowed last night in Aspen, I think, or somewhere in Colorado. But there's no snow in Park City. Have you ever seen it like that there?
No, this has been a really crazy winter for us. And I snowboard up at Solitude in Brighton.
Yeah.
And, I'm waiting for the time where I can go up.
It's crazy, man. You guys usually have like 6 feet of snow on the ground by now.
Yeah.
Okay, how can we help you?
Awesome. So I graduated last year with a bachelor's in business management and a minor in accounting.
Okay,
and
from where?
I worked Utah Valley University.
Okay, got it.
And I worked at a small marketing startup a couple months ago on their sales team, but not sure how the company's doing right now, so they kind of fired me. And I'm currently just working at Costco until the end of the year.
Okay.
I kind of really don't know what I want to do. I'm kind of, still figuring out my career goals. But I learned about investment funds from a guy named Bridger Pennington a couple years ago. And so that's kind of really opened up my mind to what wealth is and kind of how the billionaires play. I'm sure you guys know.
Yeah.
But also my dad wants me to get into stocks. He's been trading. He actually told me about Tasty Trades and Thinkorswim, so it's crazy that I found you guys this morning on YouTube and that we're now speaking. But
wild.
I'm always looking for business ideas. It's just I don't have the capital necessary.
Yeah.
But I do have a friend that knows a lot of people that can raise money. So I really think that Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I really think that instead of being an employee and, getting a raise every couple of years from someone that determines my worth, I really want to go into business. It's just finding that business,
How old are you?
Almost 27.
Almost 27. It's funny, Scott and I, we kind of bought a business in Draper, Utah years ago.
Okay.
There was investment, like investment education company, and they're no longer. But we incorporated them into our business. So we spent a lot of time talking markets in Salt Lake City in that period of time. so we're a little familiar with kind of the financial landscape there. It's not, I will say it's not the greatest city. I'm not sure how tied you are to Salt Lake City. I mean, I understand if you're a snowboarder, I get why you want to be there. I'd want to be there too. But for networking in the financial space, you're right, it is challenging. The one thing I do like about Salt Lake City is that there are a lot of startups there now, and there's a fairly big entrepreneurial community, and there's also a lot of money flowing into Salt Lake City. So I think, from an entrepreneurial side, and given your degree, that's a good thing. I think what you need to do, though, is, I know you don't want to work for somebody forever, but you've got to get some experience, and you've got to get some know-how, and you got to figure out the things that, you got to figure out some things that you like and don't like. You can't just say, hey, you know what, I'm just going to open a business and whatever. You got to figure some stuff out first. And I think if you get a job somewhere in something that you like, I mean, I understand now it's just a stopgap, but if you get a job somewhere you like, you will start to build a different level of confidence and a different, you'll start to potentially network a little bit for yourself. And I would say by the time you're, 30, which is pretty normal nowadays, you'll have a ton more opportunities and something will make sense.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
And I think Schwab has a, financial service, if you're looking in that space, I think Schwab has a big operation.
In Salt Lake City?
I think so.
I don't know.
I think they do. But again, I completely agree with Tom. We spent our whole careers as, either market maker or starting businesses, so unusual in that sense to say that we didn't take that path. But getting out and meeting people and networking and really helping you to establish yourself and figure out where you want to be. Working for yourself, amazing if you can do it. Not amazing if it doesn't work. So one of the comments that we say all the time is that you have to be willing to eat what you kill, and if you're working for yourself. So it sounds sexy, I want to go do this because I want to be my own boss, but there's a lot of hurdles, and I wouldn't change anything that we've done, but the arrow definitely did not go straight up. So you have to have the stomach for some rough days, but at the end of the day, if you can pull it off, obviously this is what we do, so I'm going to say go for it in time. But I agree with Tom, spend a couple years.
You need some experience.
Yep, just
Josh.
spend a couple years first, because you don't know who you're going to meet, you don't know what you're going to learn, and it's invaluable. So, Joshua, good luck. Stay in touch. Let us know what you decide to do, and I really hope you get some snow, because I didn't know it was that bad out there.
Well, you got to see the videos. It's unbelievable.
That's scary.
Yeah.
So,
Unbelievable.
all right, thank
Awesome.
you.
Thanks, brother.
We're going to move on to Paul from Los Angeles, and I hope you don't have snow in Los Angeles.
You don't know what they have in Los Angeles. Los Angeles is crazy. Paul, what's going on, man?
Good morning, lady and gentlemen. Great to talk to you.
Thanks.
I want to retell a story that everybody's heard 100 times. I have a friend who smokes a pack of cigarettes a day, and I went in 7-Eleven with him yesterday, and I didn't know a pack of cigarettes cost $10. And I was like, man, you got to stop smoking. He's like, yeah, I know it's a bad habit. I'm like, no. If you took that money and learned how to trade options and let it compound in your account, in a couple of years you could buy yourself a Ferrari. He said, really? I said, yeah. He said, well, do you know how to trade options? I said, yeah. He said, do you smoke? I'm like, hell no. He said, well, where's your Ferrari?
There you go.
But my question
I thought
is,
it was like $20 a pack.
Yeah, I think cigarettes in
$10.
Chicago are.
Yeah, I think
closer to-
Chicago's
I
like
think they're closer.
18.
Yeah, closer to 20.
I don't smoke, but I think it's like 18.
Yeah.
So my question relates to compounding. The only, you go to a financial advisor and they're going to pull up a spreadsheet and show you, you're going to be a millionaire by the time you retire. Or if somebody's trying to sell you an options course, they can show you how you can be a millionaire in the next couple of years using compounding. The only person I know who's been successful at compounding is the guy who has my auto loan. So is it just a matter of the discipline? Or can you guys talk about that a little bit, especially for somebody who's kind of, late to the game?
Well, compounding is a little bit of a gimmick. It's a little bit of a sales gimmick. But What's not is getting to the point where you have investments that have, like what we talked about yesterday, that have like positive drift. And you've got in life, and Paul, this goes, I know we've talked before and met and all this stuff. You have to do things that have risk, because then you have the potential for some kind of an outsized return above risk-free rates. So I'm not so sure that compounding is like a big, I can't speak for Scott. It's not a big part of my life and my investing. Basis reduction is, and taking risk is. So if somebody came to me and they said, how important is compounding? I'd be like, well, for me, not that important. But what is important for me is lowering basis. That's because I sell a lot of options. So lowering basis, and also taking risk, giving myself, asymmetrical upside. And so for me, those are the two most important things about wealth creation.
And I would jump in and add to that. The big difference is, are we talking about investing or trading? And trading, to me, compounding doesn't mean anything, because you're trading capital. You need to have, dry powder.
But just in life, in risk-free stuff.
So if you're investing, so if somebody said that they wanted, and this is why when you're saying a financial advisor is going to show you at a young age, if you start here, that hopefully you'll retire, you'll be a millionaire.
Yeah, that's all bullshit. Right.
Okay, but compounding does actually work, assuming the markets go higher.
Assuming you're comatose.
Well, assuming you leave it alone and the markets go higher, because it's the simple rate. It's the rule of 72. Your money doubles when n times I equals 72. So if you're making 7.2% a year, your money will double in 10 years. If you're making 10%, your money will double in 7.2. It doesn't take 10 years to double if you're making 10%, because compounding. So it actually does work. But from my perspective, okay, it's math. You're rolling your eye.
I'm not rolling my eyes, but interest rates are 4%.
It's still, compounding is a thing. You're saying it's not. It is actually a thing, but it's a thing from an investment standpoint, not a trading standpoint. I'll leave it at that. So,
Great answer. Appreciate it.
Paul, take some risk. Lower your basis.
Yes, well, that absolutely, but that's the trading side.
Yeah.
So, Paul, thanks for the call. We're going to move on to Canada. We are going to Brad from Ottawa. Brad, how are you?
Morning. Brad, how
you guys doing?
How are those Senators doing this year?
The Senators? I'm going to watch them tonight, actually. They're doing okay. Not as good as Detroit's doing, but we're doing all right.
All right, that's good. That's good. You're doing better than Calgary, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's for sure. But good to talk to you guys. I'm actually originally from Detroit.
Okay.
I'm in a unique position in my life. So I'm actually a animation supervisor. I got called up to Canada. I've been here for about 10 years, and I just recently got laid off. My wife works for the same company. She's still there. So I'm temporarily laid off, but the temporarily is 6 months. I got a 6-month gap. So I've been running an Etsy shop for about 4 years by myself, which is doing okay. I wrote an iPhone app for ADHD finances, for like people with ADHD, to kind of help them get a hold of their finances and their impulse spending a little better.
Okay.
And I run a small mailing service in Michigan. And I'm curious as to how long. So I've got basically 6 months. I'm really excited for your software to come out, because I've been thinking in my industry I've been severely underpaid for a long time. So it's going to be nice to be able to quantify my skill sets through your guys' software. But I'm curious, as in someone in my position, is 6 months enough of a time for me to have proof of concept with my ideas? Like, if I really try to drive marketing distribution channels, from your guys' experience, what should I focus on first in terms of marketing and distribution, now that I already have a few products built?
This is for the Etsy piece or for the App Store?
I think my ROI is higher on my app eventually. It currently almost makes no money, while my Etsy is pulling in about $500 every 3 weeks of USD, and I'm in Canada, so that actually kind of matters.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I'm curious as to, just now that I've built some things, I really need to focus on distribution and marketing. And where do you guys feel like for apps, should I be on TikTok Marketplace, which I probably should be, I try all the social media stuff as much as I possibly can. But is there any other, should I be putting capital into more marketing and more ads, more?
Well, I wouldn't put capital into ads yet because I don't think, I don't know if your products are either mature enough or if there's a big enough audience. You're still in the proving concept stage, and 6 months is not a lot of time. I mean, but in a single entrepreneur, self-employed single entrepreneur, you can get a lot done in 6 months. Like for us, we couldn't pull it off in 6 months. It's, there's too much technology. It's too hard to put everything in place. We can't do anything in 6 months. You can probably do a lot more in 6 months. You have that much more flexibility, that much more optionality. But, I probably wouldn't put any money yet into marketing. I think you got to stay in the social place. You have to be on TikTok for sure. But it's hard for me to say because I don't know anything about what the demand could be for that, app. I mean, it sounds like a really cool app. I don't know that people will pay for it. That's the challenge.
I would love to see what it is.
Yeah.
My question for you is: you made mention that you have 6 months. What happens in 6 months? Is this a non-compete? Did they pay you an exit package? They gave you 6 months, or you have 6 months?
Are you
of
on
runway?
garden leave?
Are you on leave? Is this something in 6 months you're going to have to go take another job? Or do you have a certain amount of time?
They're going to rehire me in 6 months. A new show's picking back up in 6 months. But I would honestly prefer, hopefully none of my bosses are listening, prefer not to go back into the industry if I can work for myself for the rest of my life and do art for art's sake when I want.
You have a great opportunity.
You have incredible motivation then, because
and you have a great opportunity.
And you have a great opportunity.
You want to go prove concept.
Yeah.
So, the great thing about marketing today, and I'm not on TikTok, but just in social in general, you don't have to put a lot of money behind it. And you could see if you start getting some traction. And these are the kinds of things, I don't know what you're selling in your Etsy store, but if you're only doing it part-time, is it possible that you can put some more effort into it and you'll see your sales double, triple, quadruple, whatever it is. So 6 months is enough time, I think, for you to get the feel to say, is this something that I can really give it a go? And then you might say, if your bosses come back and they say in 6 months that they'd like to bring you back, you now have a negotiating point that you can use to say, look, I'll come back, but it's got to be for more money because I'm now doing this on the side. And you made the comment that you feel like you've been underpaid for most of your career. So
prove concept.
Yep.
Prove concept and go with whichever one's more scalable. The one thing that scares me about Etsy is I don't know how scalable that business is. The app that you're building and different pieces of technology are probably more scalable, and they're probably more interesting when it comes to building, a network and building a future in more of like an entrepreneurial future. I think that's probably more valuable.
And you might find that there's a fair amount of people that have ADHD, and you might find if you could build this up and get some traction, you might get a financial service firm that would be interested, partnering with you,
right?
Because they might be interested in saying, "Look, we're going to give this to our customers," and they'll pay you something for it. So, but again, prove concept, and then it's not that big of a universe. You could reach out to some of the firms and say, "Look, I've got this."
Plus, you can expand on it. Doesn't you can start with in that direction, and then you can, if it's a good app, you can broaden it and stuff like that. There's a lot of demand in Canada for, Canada's small, but there's still a lot of demand for different kinds of financial products and financial apps and things like that, because Canada just doesn't have this same breadth of products that we have here in the U.S. So I think there's opportunity in Canada. We couldn't go live there because we couldn't find anybody to clear us. But we have owned a Canadian company before, so we've done it.
Yeah. But anyway, Brad, good luck.
Hey man, call in. Keep calling in.
Yep, keep calling in.
Will do. I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you very much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it all.
Good luck
to you.
Yeah.
All right, we're running out of time, but we do have one more caller we're going to take. We're going to go to John, who is from Louisville.
John, what's going on?
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank you for taking my call.
Yeah, good. How you doing?
Good. How is the Louisville team this year? Basketball team.
Good.
They're good?
I think Louisville's top.
Yeah.
Louisville Cardinals are top 10, aren't they?
I think they're. I think they 20. Were. I don't remember if they lost this past week. But yeah, they were up there in top 10.
Yeah.
We're big fans of Louisville, but I only get down there for the Derby. What's going on?
How can we help you?
So just I've been following like Tasty Trade or Tasty and Lost Dog since you guys started that for a little while now.
Sure, man. Thanks.
I've been doing trying to do the trade small, trade opt-in concept, and I'm having I read the Julia's book as well, and like I get the concept behind it, but I'm having a little trouble actually implementing it in practice. So like, I'm selling these iron condors, and I guess I feel like I'm having mixed results. So I was kind of wondering, do you guys have a specific indicator that you guys use to say, like, I need to sell a put spread or sell a call spread versus selling an iron condor? Like, I know the neutral versus directional, but I don't know. I guess just kind of looking for a little help in that field.
What I would do is, if you're getting to the point where you're getting a little frustrated, and by the way, Julia's book is just, it's really on all the mechanics that we've worked on over the years. And I love the way she put everything together and just made it clean, concise, easy to understand. She's so brilliant. It's a great book on option trading. Yeah. But I think you're at the point where, like, the iron condor is kind of a learning process, maybe more than anything else. When you're first getting into option trading, you're kind of, selling verticals on both sides. You're starting to watch the markets. You're learning what short premium is all about. You're learning kind of about volatility and market movement and all that kind of stuff, how to use the technology. But it sounds to me you're at the point where you've got to do stuff and lift a few legs. And it doesn't mean you have to go crazy with naked positions or anything like that. But maybe forget about, I think you'll do much better if you go a little bit wider and not do the iron condor, not buy the wings, if you have enough capital. And sometimes, if you're bullish on something, you think something's oversold, maybe try an out of the money short put. I think you'll see your success rate go up, and that may change everything that you're thinking about trading.
Okay.
So I mean, that would be my first. If I sat down with you as a mentor one-on-one, that's what I would suggest.
Okay. So
completely agree. In general, and it's not, I would take it even further, it's just not with iron condors. If you're finding that whatever trading strategy you're doing, you feel like you're pushing a little bit on a string, just mix it up a little bit. And, just try a couple different things. So again, if the iron condor is not working, maybe you just go to a call spread or put spread and you see how that works. Or whatever your strategy is, if you feel that it's not doing what you want it to do, or it's not, the results aren't what you're looking for, just mix it up. That's the great thing about trading, is that you have an opportunity, your next trade, do something a little different.
Iron condors are great on a one-off basis. They're great for engagement, they're great to learn with, and they're great on a one-off basis. But as a go-to strategy, I don't like it.
I totally agree. But everything Tom said, great for learning,
And they're fine on a one-off basis if you want to do something for earnings, or you want to do something for a binary event, or if you just have a stock that's really expensive and you just want to iron condor it off with some wide wings or SPX, whatever, that's fine. But they're good for one-off trades. They're not good as a core strategy.
Completely agree.
Got it.
So, John, thank you for the call.
Thanks so much, John.
Appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day.
And you know what? We have to just thank everybody. You guys kept the calls coming today. That was absolutely awesome. We had people calling in from all over the country, from California, from Salt Lake City. That was just from Louisville, from Long Island. I can't even remember all the other places. But that's what this is all about. We actually have lots more letters from the Dog Pound, and you'll see those next week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 9 a.m. Central Time. And we'll take your calls, and we'll keep building this up, and hopefully over time we can go longer, more than 60 minutes. But great calls today. This is an Ask Me Anything format, and as we're sitting here, Scott, the market.
You're just so happy. This is amazing. I'm putting this date
usually,
down. What's the date? The 18th? So December.
Usually I'm hanging myself.
I cannot believe they're up 87. So they're up 87. I'm happy. I'm not short. I took everything off yesterday. I'll put some stuff out. But, NASDAQ's up 450. Gold's up $2. Silver's down $1. Bitcoin's up 2,500. Ethereum's up 140. Bonds, really interesting. And I know
I've been trading them from the long side. I covered this morning.
You covered your 14 puts?
I covered my 14 puts this morning. It was a good trade.
All right, so bonds are pushing up towards 116, but they really have not moved since whatever. They've moved within 3/4 of a point, maybe a full point.
Yep.
Apple That's the one you said you could sell today. It's up 28 cents. But again, everything seems to be riding the back of of MU. It's up 25. It was up 20. It just rallied up a little bit. So VIX down at $1.46. And I guess my question for you: do you start selling them this afternoon, or do you wait till tomorrow morning?
I don't know if even if you wait till next week, because tomorrow's going to be dead after the opening print, and it's triple witching, and I think there's obviously, with this S&P's up 86 today, I don't know where they go, but maybe
they're not going to be down.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not going to be down.
Nobody's going to sell them for a markdown tomorrow morning.
Correct.
So I think you wait a little bit, and then I'm going to reload. I'm very bearish for January. And the good thing, too, is if you sign up for our software when we roll it out and you subscribe to our software, my portfolio will be on that software as well. So you'll be able to see stuff like that. So it's kind of cool.
Awesome. All right. Listen, happy Thursday.
Have a great day.
Have a great day. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next Monday.